very important point here. An abstract, which is the same as the simulation, right? The simulation is an abstraction. In fact, Albert North Whitehead, that great philosopher in the 20th century, said, this is the way to control. It is to use the abstraction. So something about then the contrast between the abstraction inside the matrix and nature is not abstract. Maybe we can do a little riff on the comparisons here, but I know there are plenty of hands. Yes?
When you think of it as nourishment, the idea comes to mind that we feel nourished when we're in sync. And we might liken it to biting into a tomato and not knowing what a tomato tastes like. If you were to bite into a plastic apple, a lot of people think plastic apples are real. But when you really bite into a true apple, you know that taste. So that disconnect to me is, we're out of touch. We feel, you mentioned fear. But to me, there is a lack of peace. When you're living on simulation, you're not really getting nourished. And it's that awakening that then you realize it, because many people probably don't truly know that they're living on simulated nourishment because they're accepting it as such.
Right.
But the awakening, I don't know how we each have our journey. We wake up somehow. I believe we are each connected to this journey we're on, and we have these signposts. And did you get that one? Did you see that one? And pretty soon you crash and burn, and you rise from that. And so, oh, I get it now. And so we're awakening. For me, when I fall asleep, I realize that I'm back in simulated time.
Right. So there's something about the matrix is an illusion of nourishment, and then there's something that helps wake us up to no, actually there's something so alive and nourishing and reciprocal in the universe that I need to connect with, right? That's not the fake food, either the fake mental food or the fake, fake nourishment. So it's a good place if you came away from this conference and you said, wow, I'm going to resonate more with where I can find nourishment. Unplug the machine, yes.
It just reminded me when you were saying that and saying also about immersing oneself in the information stream by interacting with the internet, such as or watching television and whatnot. I've noticed that if I do that for too long, I actually start to feel very depressed and low energy. I mean, I can palpably feel it. And I realize I just have to stop, get up, do something to sort of start the energy flowing again, because it just kind of falls flat. It's very, pumps you up here a lot, but it doesn't do much for the rest of the people.
Yes.
Those of us who grew up in this country with this idea of the American dream, which is basically about getting as much stuff and material comfort as possible, and the nourishment thing is like we think that needs to be our nourishment, and we don't know anything else because we are in fact so indoctrinated by the TV and people are paid a lot of money to addict us to their products. And really, unless we get some sort of separation from that where we can see it, we just grow up in that matrix of the companies that are making those products and paying to addict people. And so I can see that really clearly now, but I didn't for a long time.
So why did Thomas Merton say in the 20th century, busyness, the level of busyness is going to create the greatest levels of violence? Why did he equate busyness and violence?
Because doing keeps you in the third chakra. It keeps you focused on what you want, what you need, what you think you should. Whereas being keeps you in the fourth chakra or higher.
Very good, very good. And since you also mentioned fear, so if you're busy, we're catching some sense of what you're losing here, and we're going to move back into cosmic space and time in a minute, but we're really trying to clarify the matrix machine. You mentioned fear. You know that fear in the body has a whole biochemical flow, and then it centers around the amygdala, right? And so, if I name a particular date when 2 towers went down, I can trigger your amygdala. Are you aware of this? You're aware that people are aware that you can manipulate. I can manipulate your amygdala sitting in the back there by saying 9/11. Now, I want to be really careful because we've created a very good, so just sort of go back into your heart for a moment. This is real. This is not, this whole thing this morning, our time together is about reality, right? It's not about the make-believe 2012. It's about reality. So we know that now, in the political sphere, it's called hijacking your amygdala. Because amygdala is the alarm bell inside that rings at the frequency fear, and it's conjoined right next to long-term memory. So guess what? If I trigger a memory, well, you tell me. Can you tell me, precisely what you were doing when you heard about those events on that particular day? You can, right? It's very different. Some of you can even remember when John F. Kennedy was assassinated, what you were wearing, where you were in the room. Long-term memory, amygdala response, put the two together, keep them busy, keep them in fear, and you've got a little trap. You've got some very significant distortion that it's polite to call it the matrix. There's something fierce about it, right? And particularly if you know and you use it manipulatively. Now, what we're talking about, since we're the people who are in this room, is, well, you know what? We're still survivors. We know that we're pulled by part of that, but we're called. We're feeling the call of nature. We're feeling some other elements. So before we go into that call of the wider cosmos, could you just summarize for me what evolution, which is on our side, is doing? What are dead-end signs inside the matrix that even if you're caught inside, all this busyness and fear, and you're saying, I've got to wake up, I've got to meditate, I've got to keep it real. I'm coming to the end of this tunnel in time, I've just got to keep going. What are some of the evolutionary stop signs that say, you know what? Don't worry, it's the end of the road.
Well, coming into an awareness of where you are in the moment.
Mm-hmm. Your own awareness.
Your own awareness. And then, of course, you begin to connect with others, but aware of the fixed attention you have that's causing the matrix.
Very good. I'm just trying to capture, let me try to be a little bit more precise. We're talking about, and you'll hear more at this conference, the mind's understood acceleration of time. Their principles, right? So we know we're in speed up time. And as we speed up, evolution is saying, it's like being in a car, isn't it? It's going like, oh my God, that's over. Bye-bye, that's the cliff's edge. That's the end. And what I'm asking from you is, summarize for me some of those evolutionary dead-end signs that says, 20 years ago they would never have seen this. Now we're saying like, yes.
I'm infatuated with the chemical perspective of the ages in time, and the fact that the Iron Age is coming to an end at the same time our 26,000-year-old wobble is coming to an end at the same time that the center of our galaxy is going to align with the sun. That to me, I don't really perceive it as the end, but rather a beginning or a change from the age.
Well, yes, we've hit some big ones, but like Alan Greenspan, in congressional testimony when he was asked about the whole basis of modernity in the financial field. He said, he was asked, you know, do you still believe that the unrestricted free market forces? He said, no, I no longer believe.
And I love for how many years he predicted
yes.
to be the most incredible.
Why? Because Alan has seen the evolutionary dead end sign. And what is that? What is that evolutionary dead end? What is he actually seeing?
He's seeing a depletion, a lack of nourishment, a system that is dying.
A total collapse of nourishment, and in its place, hyper-greed. Hyper-greed for the illusion. As somebody said this morning, it's an illusion. But now the illusion has revealed itself as, I'm sorry, humanity, you were thinking that the modern capitalist paradigm was in fact going to create, not in that form, evolutionary dead end. Any more evolutionary dead ends that we can mark?
Yeah, it would be the example of just our whole Earth planetary support system. We're in the path we've been on is coming to a dead end of consumption. We are reaching we can see that the very real capacity of our Earth to support us in its current trajectory.
Right. And we're feeling that, right? Which is why we're waking up, why the Matrix can't hold us, because we're feeling, enough people are feeling that it's our mother being, it's our mother nature, it's our mother earth that has a limited number of years if we don't stop destroying our own habitat. And any other?
The dissolve of the lesson of what money has taught us.
The dissolve of the lesson of what money has taught us.
Yes.
You want to say more?
That, in essence, really we've created our value through paper.
Yes.
We have equated our value numerically, and to show us how we're feeling in our true essence. And as we do that, it's coming up more and more as we're really becoming aware what we are. We are no longer needing to have the money to show us that value.
Right. I mean, I don't want to get too Baptist minister on you. I mean, are we feeling this?
Yes.
Right? That, because this, if we're sort of in the organic feeling state of this, then we are in fact coming to, that peaking 2012 era, because we're going to pop. I mean, that's really, I think, the theory. Gene Houston calls it jump time. We're going to pop from those states that we're now in into a new element of consciousness. Any more markers? Let's sing it. I mean, what about gender? What is the evolutionary dead end sign for male domination? Yes.
But, clearly, as many understand, and it's been restated today, that we are in a time of patriarchal time. And many realizing that we turned our back on Gaia for so long, and it's led us down a dangerous path. What we call progress, as you said, yes, well, progress is progress, but if you're going towards a cliff, it's still progress, but we know the outcome. And so this reintegration, I mean, for a long time it seems many people say, well, we've got to re-embrace Gaia, we're going back. If you look at the spectrum, perhaps right and left, we're going back to the left. But moreover, it seems it's nothing of the sort, but rather we're turning back to center, the unification again, unity, oneness, balance.
Why, some more reflection on why is, as you said, the end of patriarchy one of the signs that why is the end of patriarchy a dead end sign? What?
Because mother nourishes us, woman nourishes us. It's the nourishment of mother's love that gives us everything. That's the thing that, when you talk about fear, when your stomach's tight, you can't even digest. You can't truly get nourished from physical food because your stomach's too time to feel it. The example that you gave us when we all went to our heart space, we nourished ourselves in that energy. So I keep feeling like when I'm out of sync, or now if I'm living in simulated energies, I don't feel as loved or as nourished. It just doesn't feel right.